So I grew my clothing brand to over six figures, got over 2,400 orders in over 40 countries worldwide, and work on the brand full time. So in this video, I'm going to tell you guys exactly what I did over the past 3 years to get to this point. Little slideshow for you guys to follow along. I'll link it in the description as well. But in this video, we are going to be going over why and how I started my clothing brand, my first drops, the top 5 strategies I used, why it's harder to be successful now, the 3 biggest hurdles I faced and how I overcame them, the top 3 mistakes I made, a big misconception people have about clothing brands, what I'm doing to scale to 7 figures now, and my best advice to clothing brand owners. And if you just want to skip ahead to some specific part, there are timestamps in the description, but then you would miss a lot of valuable information. And I also just want to say, I hope this video doesn't come across as like cocky. I'm not trying to flex at all. I just want to be as transparent as possible with you guys so you can learn as much as possible. I used to watch a lot of videos like this when I was growing my brand, and they were super helpful. So just trying to provide as much value to you guys as I can. Make sure you guys got a notepad and a pencil ready to take some notes. Let's get started. Okay, so first up, why did I start a clothing brand? Since I was pretty young, I always knew I wanted to start a business and make a lot of money. So I tried drop shipping, I tried selling fingerboarding obstacles, I tried power washing, and a couple more business ventures, which all failed. I didn't stick with any of them long enough for it to actually become anything, but I learned a little bit along the way. Fast forward to COVID, I was lazy as shit the entire time, but then at the end had a bit of a resurgence. Said, let's try this again. I'm going to actually do it this time and stick with it. So I was watching a bunch of videos on YouTube trying to learn as much as possible. And I was thinking I was going to start another dropshipping business, but then I was watching all these videos and people are like, dropshipping is dead. You have to start your own brand. It's the only way to be successful. And I was like, all right, I'm going to start my own brand. I like designing clothes. I like fashion. So I said, I'm going to start my own clothing brand. I officially started my business on May 28th, 2021, about 3 years ago now. I registered my business, I dropped my first handmade collection, quit my job, which was a mistake. We will talk about that later, and just fully committed. And so I started out with a one-of-one handmade drop. So I was just sewing random shit together onto t-shirts and hoodies and stuff. It was pretty bad, but I didn't have money to invest into bulk, so that's all I could really do. And I just knew that I wanted to get started. So, and the thing is, at the time, I thought that shit was super fire, but it was not. I'll show you guys some photos on the screen. And that leads me into the first drops, wins and fails. So my first release was decent. My friends and family supported me, but I did not have any real customers. Real as in customers who don't know me, have no relationship to me. So I made a couple $100. Shout out to my friends and family who supported me. I was happy to make some money, but I was also a little disappointed that no like new people actually bought, because I was like, okay, my friends and family are going to support me on this release, but the next one, probably not. We're going to have to find some real new customers to start buying my stuff. Anyways, I used the profit from that first release to get my first bulk order. I ordered 50 hats, which cost me about $750 or so. They were these trucker hats right here with the bottle opener on them. And so the first several weeks, I only sold 5 of them, mostly to friends. So I was still feeling a bit discouraged, not really getting any sales. Then I did a pop-up that was a complete disaster. I stayed up all night printing over 50 t-shirts and then sold absolutely 0 of them the next day. I did sell 1 hat, so it wasn't a complete failure, but it was very disappointing to say the least. So then I finally had some success selling those trucker hats using archive page promotions. So like I said, the first couple weeks with the hats, I only sold 5 of them, and that was mostly to friends, so it was a bit disappointing. However, on July 17th, I sold 9 hats in a single day for $321.54. Then the next day, on July 18th, I sold 16 hats and made $570.44 for that day. So what changed? I learned about archive page promotions. So I would pay other Instagram accounts to repost photos of my hat, and they would tag me, and then people would see the hat, and then they would go order it from my website. So these posts performed pretty well because the hat had the bottle opener on it. So it was kind of a unique and cool idea, and those posts performed well and got me all of those sales. For my second month with my clothing brand, I made $2,666.52 and got 70 orders. So here's a photo of me with all my orders before I dropped them off at the post office. I was feeling pretty confident after this with the brand, thought it was only up from here and I'd be making $1 million in no time, but it did not end up working out that way. Anyways, I did a couple more of those archive page promotions and ended up selling all 50 of the hats. And then my next release was some screen printed t-shirts, and I only sold 2 of them on the first day, and the people who bought them were friends. So that was a failure. Shout out to the friends who bought them, but it was quite disappointing. So then my third month, I only made $244. That was a big fail. I was pretty discouraged after that, just because I put in quite a bit of work into this screen printing collection. Now, the next month, I did another screen printing t-shirts drop. Had a little bit better of designs. We got these t-shirts right here. This release did a little bit better. I sold 21 shirts and made $624 that month. So this was a bit better, but I was still feeling a bit discouraged because I was putting in a lot of effort. Overall, it was still a pretty good drop, and we kept on grinding. So my next success was when I dropped another trucker hat. I dropped these Stars trucker hats here. I ordered 100 pieces this time. I was pretty much just following trends with all this Y2K and Stars bullshit. Anyways, the hats were a success, and I sold 84 of them that month for a total of $2,867.33 that month, and hit 2,000 followers on Instagram. So after this drop, I did my first collection around Christmas time, dropped some t-shirts, a zip-up, and a sweater, more Y2K Stars shit, and I made $7,517.91 that month. And from here on out, I pretty much ran the same strategies for every single drop, which leads us to the top 5 strategies I used to get to 6 figures. First of all, before I reveal the secret 5 strategies I used, don't just go out and get a bunch of trucker hats made and then pay archive pages to promote them. It does not work the same way anymore. Just don't go run off and do it. I'm going to tell you guys all the strategies I'm using to get to 7 figures at the end of the video. So just stick around, be patient. So the first strategy I used was making unique and high quality products. Each item stands out and has some sort of wow factor to it. So people are scrolling on Instagram and then they see one of my items and they say, whoa, this has something unique to it and it's cool. So the items I was releasing, I showed the photos. They were not very unique, but they did have something to set them apart. So like, for example, with the hats, those Stars trucker hats, they had the little 3D embroidered stars and then the 2D text. So just a nice contrast with the embroidery. And then the embroidery also went over the side panel, which most hats, people just stay in that front box. So having it go over the sides was a little thing to set it apart. Nothing crazy, and they were still pretty basic. Those items were not the best. They could definitely be much better, but my point is that they had something to make them stand out from everybody else's products. The second strategy is exclusive and limited releases. So every single piece collection is heavily promoted before the drop, and then only a certain amount of pieces is available. And then once it sells out, it is sold out forever. So if you miss out, now you can't get them anymore. So you gotta get them the first time. This is not new information to most of you, but that is one of the strategies that I used, and it is an effective strategy. Now, the third strategy is excellent customer service. So making sure that customers had the best experience possible, shipping orders out quickly. If a customer has a complaint or an email, any question, I'm going to try and answer it as soon as possible and fix any issues they might have, as well as just communicating with them, being friendly, just treating my customers as good as I can. Unlike some other brands you see today, comment sections filled with hate, like, where's my order? I just bought from you 8 months ago and I still haven't gotten it. Or, these people are scammers. They haven't shipped my order in a year. Shit like that. And I've literally seen some brands comment back, like, starting arguments with their customers. Like, that's the stupidest shit I've ever seen. You have to actually care about your customers, or your brand is going to suck and it's going to fail. Don't scam your customers. I can't believe I even have to say that, but I see it all the time. Don't be an idiot. Okay, the fourth strategy I used was the archive page promotions, like I was talking about. I used to do a lot of promotions on archive pages. For the pieces that I was releasing, it worked pretty well, but it does not work well for every single item. You need to have an item that stands out. It also has to fit that specific aesthetic that those archive pages have. So I don't recommend to just go out and pay these archive pages to post your stuff, because it's not the same anymore, and I'm going to talk about it more in this video. Just be patient. Now, the fifth strategy that I used is giveaways. I pretty much do a giveaway for every single release that I do. It's really just a win-win situation. You give away a couple of pieces and you get a bunch of people commenting on your posts, tagging their friends. It brings in a lot of awareness and will increase the hype and build up for the release itself. And then, of course, the people who win that giveaway are going to be hyped as fuck because they get some free shit. And actually send out the pieces. Don't scam people, like I was saying before. I've seen fake giveaways before. Don't do that, or else you're just an idiot, and this is not the right business for you. Don't be scamming people. Bonus tip, I've done pre-orders and I've done pre-made releases. Pre-made always sells better because you can ship it out faster. People don't want to wait weeks or months. So if you can do it, do a pre-made release. All right, so why it's harder to be successful now. In 2021 and 2022, underground streetwear brands and Y2K was still pretty new and fresh. There was a lot of demand for it. There was a lot less competition, and the overall standards for design was much lower. It's honestly a lot harder now. There's a lot more competition. People are much better. They're releasing way higher quality pieces, and the standards for designs have raised quite a bit. And there's a lot of very talented people out there with brands. I think it's just because there's been so many tutorials in the past, couple years, that it's become incredibly easy to start your own brand these days. And all of the resources are there online if you want to do it. And then just over time, of course, the quality and the standards are going to increase. So back in 2021, 2022, I think that you could get away with more lazy designs and it was a lot easier to stand out. So back then, you could literally just put your brand name on a hoodie with a star on it, post a bunch of videos on TikTok, have a viral video, and make a bunch of money. But those days are over. You cannot do that anymore. You have to actually be unique now. You have to actually put in that extra effort, which this is all a great thing. It just means you have to work a little bit harder. The other thing is that archive pages were kind of popping off during 2021, 2022. I personally think in 2023 and in 2024 now that they have been kind of declining. And so I don't really use them as much anymore, if at all. And only pieces that are like super unique or really fit the aesthetic that those accounts have are going to perform well. Like back in 2021 and 2022, the good old days, dude. I would send one of my items to these archive pages, they would post it, and the post would always perform super well, and I would get a bunch of sales from it. But then in 2023, like I was saying, started to see a bit of a decline with it, where I would send them one of my pieces, they would post it, and then the post would flop. They hide the likes. I'm like, I get my money back though. And the other thing is that a lot of archive pages now are just posting like furniture and jewelry and other unique eye-catching things. Like, they don't post as much clothing as they used to. It's just not a very good option anymore, in my opinion. But anyways, back then you could really just get away with a lot more having lazy designs that are not super unique. But now the standards are higher. You have to put in more effort, which again, this is a good thing. It just means you got to work harder, put in that extra effort. All right, next, the 3 biggest hurdles I faced and how I overcame them. So first step was not having enough money for a bulk order. I personally started out selling one-of-one pieces. Like I said, you could do this too if it interests you. If it does not interest you, don't do it. Instead, you can save up money for a bulk order. I'd recommend getting a job and saving up at least $500, but $1,000 would be better, 2,000 if you can. You really just got to be patient and put in that work to save up. I know in the beginning I was super impatient because I was just fiending to get that bulk order made, but this stuff takes time. You really just got to be patient. My first bulk order was hats. Hats are super cheap. You can also get t-shirts printed at a local printer for very cheap and very low minimum order quantities. So if you only have like 100, 200 bucks to invest, you can just get like a small order of t-shirts made, or you could also use that money to invest in a sample and then do a pre-order release. Or many manufacturers in Pakistan have very low minimum order quantities or no minimum order quantity at all. So that would be another place to look. But honestly, you just got to be patient, get a job, save up some money. It will pay off, I promise you. Number 2 is not getting any sales. In the beginning, you just have to have low expectations. Like your sales are going to be shit in the beginning. Just don't set high expectations. It takes a while to figure out what your audience likes. It takes a while to figure out what pieces sell well, but I would recommend starting with the lowest quantity possible you can, maybe 10 to 30 pieces. Or if you're doing cut and sew, the minimum order quantity is probably going to be 50, unless you go with a Pakistan manufacturer. Like I said, some of them don't have minimum order quantities, but I wouldn't do any more than 50 pieces for your first release. And I would also keep it to one item. Don't release a huge collection with a bunch of pieces. Just start small so you can understand how it works and just build from there. You can also do a giveaway on Instagram or TikTok, like I was saying, have people tag their friends. One mistake I see people make is they do a giveaway and then part of the requirements to join the giveaway is reposting it on their story. A lot of people don't want to repost giveaways on their story, so just tell them to follow you and tag some friends, and you'll get a lot of eyes on your brand and hopefully some more sales. Next, you can post a lot of video content on Reels or TikTok. This is one of the best free ways to do it, so you don't have to spend a bunch of money on ads. You can also buy promos on archive pages, like I was saying, but I would only do this if your product is truly unique. If it's not unique and it doesn't stand out, you're just going to be wasting your money. Even being unique with archive pages is not enough. It has to actually fit the aesthetic of the page. So just look through the account and see if your pieces would actually fit into that account's vibe. If not, probably not going to be worth your time, and it's just gonna be a waste of money. And then lastly, just focus on creating products that are high quality and unique. If you have a good product, people are going to buy it. And if you have a bad product, it doesn't matter how much money you dump into ads, people aren't going to buy it if the product is shit. So in the beginning, I recommend hiring a good designer if you don't know how to design or if you haven't been doing it for a while. In the beginning, I thought my shit was fire. It was not, and I would have been better off hiring a designer to get some actually good pieces made. A designer will cost you anywhere from like $50 to $200, and it is worth it to pay the extra dollar to get a very good design. Now, third biggest hurdle is not getting any engagement on social media. For this, you really just have to be patient. You can't expect your account to grow crazy overnight. It's going to take you months or even years. The most important thing is that you just stay consistent. The only way you are going to lose in this game is by giving up. So you just gotta focus on showing up, continue posting content as frequently as you can. In the beginning, bad content is better than no content. So if you don't have any engagement, just try to post as much as you can, but focus on posting videos that are valuable and are not lazy. The thing is with TikTok and Reels is that if you post videos every single day, that's not enough anymore. You have to actually be providing value to people and making unique videos. The reason why you are stuck in the 200 view jail is not because you're shadow banned or because the algorithm hates you. It's probably just because your content sucks. So you just gotta continue revising it and making it better and better. Over time, you will gain traction. If your content is good, people are going to find it. Trust me, you're not shadow banned. And also, don't waste your money boosting posts with bad engagement. If a post doesn't have good engagement to start with, dumping money into it is not going to help. It's just going to be a waste of money. But regardless, like I said, focus on showing up, focus on consistency, focus on creating high quality videos that are actually unique. Don't be lazy. Don't just copy other people. None of it is going to happen overnight. Okay, now the top 3 biggest mistakes that I made and what I would do differently if I could go back. First, biggest mistake I made was quitting my job. I should have kept a job to continue making money so I can invest more into the brand. It wasn't the worst decision ever to quit my job because I was living with my mom, so I didn't have to pay rent and I had very little expenses. But as soon as I did move out and had to pay rent and pay for groceries and shit like that, then it started to become a problem where too much of the money I was making from the brand had to be spent on my expenses, and then there wasn't enough left to sufficiently reinvest back into the brand and continue growing. And so because I was relying on my brand to survive each month, then I didn't have enough money to reinvest, and that definitely limited my growth quite a bit. If I had kept a job, I would have been able to grow much quicker than I have. So if I could go back, I would have kept a part-time job, nothing crazy, probably anywhere from 12 to 28 hours per week, because you don't want to work too much that you don't have any time for your brand. But you also got to make enough money to cover your ass and your expenses. Number 2 is designing pieces with profits in mind. So I made the mistake of designing and releasing pieces that I thought people would like. I ended up dropping some stuff that was more simple because I thought that's what people wanted. I thought that's what would sell better. Turns out I was wrong, and then I ended up regretting doing that because I didn't even like the pieces as much. I knew that they could be better. So that was a stupid mistake. And the reason I made that mistake is because I was thinking about profits instead of just designing things that I personally love and focusing on creating the best pieces I possibly can. I was also operating from this mindset of fear and scarcity because, like I said, I was relying on my brand to cover my expenses. So it put me into the mindset where I was like, I need to make money off this drop or else I can't pay rent. And that is a terrible mindset to be in. So if I could go back, I would purely focus on creating the best pieces possible, not trying to create pieces that I thought would sell well, and try not to think about the profits as much as I can. Of course, you should think about profits somewhat. At the end of the day, we are trying to make money as well, but it just cannot be your primary focus. I promise you it's not going to work out well. I mean, at least it did not work out well for me. Okay, now the third biggest mistake I made was doing too much, and there's 2 parts to this. The first part is that I was getting too ambitious, ordering too much pre-made inventory because I thought I was able to sell it, and I ended up with a lot of extra inventory that I was just struggling to sell. And what I should have done is kept the stock much lower and just kept growing the demand. The second part of it is that I had too many directions with the brand. I should have created a better vision and creative direction for the brand. I was switching it up way too frequently, and that I think confused a lot of customers and really just weakened the brand's image. But yeah, so I was just all over the place, and I think that was very confusing to a lot of people. So if I could go back, I would keep doing more exclusive releases, growing the demand, and that would also create a clear vision and direction for the brand, not chase too many directions at one time. However, it is likely that your vision is going to change. You will grow over time, your taste will change. So naturally, your vision will change for your brand. However, it is still important to create a clear vision for it because you don't want to be confusing people. So the biggest misconception that people have about clothing brands. Many clothing brand owners I see give false impressions of success. When you see somebody's Shopify dashboard, for example, right here, this is the total revenue. This is not the money that you actually get to walk away with. So this is the number before you take out all the expenses. So before product costs, before shipping costs, before shipping materials, before credit card fees, before advertising, etc. There's a lot of expenses and they add up quite quickly. And I'm sure some of you already have known this before, but I have seen a lot of clothing brand owners kind of be a little deceptive about it, being like all of that money is money they get to keep and go spend, but that is not how it works. Just wanted to tell you guys how it is because clothing brands are not as profitable as some people make it seem. So yeah, anyways, now you know if you did not know. Okay, now we got the interesting part. 7 things I'm doing to scale to 7 figures now. So 6 figures, that's just the part 1. We're going to get to 7 figures. I'll document the entire process. So make sure you guys keep updated with me so you guys can follow this journey because I guarantee you I'm going to get there one day, whether it's a year from now 5 years, 10 years. One day I'll be there, I can tell you that much. Anyways, the first thing is creating unique and high quality pieces. I've already said it several times, but this is my biggest focus. I think it's one of the biggest factors to brand success. So I'm just going all in on creating the best pieces I possibly can and just focusing on providing as much value to my customers as I can. Second is a clear vision with my branding specific and defined, and I think that's just going to eliminate a lot of the confusion that I've created in the past and really just allow customers and people to connect with the brand much better. And then number 3 is lower quantity releases. So I'm not ordering a bunch of inventory even if I think I can sell a bunch, and I want to keep the releases limited and exclusive and just keep growing the demand with each release. Fourth is having the best customer service possible, providing my customers with the best experience I can. So that includes the packaging as well, getting branded packaging made, throwing in some stickers, thank you cards with a discount code, throwing in freebies with their order, just things that I can do to increase the value so when the customer receives an order from my brand, they are just blown away at the level of service and the amount of value provided. Number 5 is delegating tasks to others to increase efficiency. So I've got some interns, they've been killing it, and I'm working with an agency to run my advertising as well. And as I continue to scale and grow, I plan to hire more people, outsource more tasks. So that takes a lot off of my plate, allowing me to focus on the things that I do best. Number 6 is being very organized and detailed. So this means tracking all my financials, taking the extra time for releases to get all the details right. So if I have to pay to get that second or third, fourth sample, I'm going to do it. I'm not going to rush any releases. I'm going to make sure I get all of the details right. Also, keeping track of all the financials, just being very organized with the business. It makes the whole process just so much easier, less of a headache, because running a business can be very hard. It can be very exhausting. So the more organized you can be, the easier it will be, and the less your head is going to feel like it's going to explode. So yeah, try to be organized, keep track of your financials, take the time to get details right. That is what I am doing. And number 7 is going all in on video content. So like I said earlier, I wish I'd been posting videos more frequently in the past. It's definitely something I've been sleeping on for a while now, but no longer. So like I started this YouTube channel and I'm posting more on Reels and TikTok. But the key thing here is I'm focusing on posting high quality videos, providing value to you guys in every single one of my videos. I'm not just posting lazy and shitty vids that everybody else is making. Like, you can try and post as many videos as you want and just hope that one of them is going to go viral, but you're probably not going to have much luck. It's much better, I think, to put in more effort into your videos and just purely focus on providing value to people. Like I said, if you are stuck in the 200 view jail on TikTok, you're not shadow banned and the algorithm does not hate you, your content is probably trash. So just try to provide some more value and make some better videos, and I promise you, you will get more views. More people are going to find you. And honestly, I think if I'd been consistent with video content in the past 3 years, I probably would have been like 10 times as successful as I am today, because there is so much potential with it. So it is definitely something to take advantage with and take the time to learn it and get good at creating videos. But yeah, so I definitely regret not posting more videos, but now I'm doing it, and I think it's going to be a huge factor of my success going forwards. But overall, the biggest thing I'm doing differently is just really taking the time to increase the entire value of the brand. I know I keep saying this over and over, but that's really just what I'm doing. I think that's the most important factor. Check back in with me in 1 year, 5 years. I promise you it's going to pay off. All right, guys, my best advice to clothing brand owners. First of all, if you haven't started a brand yet, then I'd ask yourself some key questions. First, why do you want to start a brand? Do you enjoy designing clothes? Do you see yourself enjoying being a business owner? Or do you just want to make some money? If you just want to make some money, then starting a clothing brand is probably not for you. You have to actually enjoy the process of it. Running a clothing brand is not easy. I know there's a lot of videos out there today that make it seem easy, but it is very hard and it takes a lot of effort and hard work. And if you don't actually enjoy the process, once you get some big obstacles coming your way, you're just going to quit because you don't want to do it. So if you don't enjoy the process, it's just going to be a waste of your time. And it's important that you ask yourself these questions because a lot of people get into this for the wrong reasons. They think it's a get rich quick scheme, but that is not the truth. Now, second, you're going to want to learn some valuable skills. So in the beginning, just try to soak up as much knowledge as possible, but actually put that knowledge into practice. It doesn't matter how many YouTube videos or books you read if you don't put any of it into practice. So practice designing clothes, learn to make tech packs, practice photography, real skills that you can use over time. And a lot of these skills are transferable between different industries. The best thing you can do is to learn some real skills and get some real experience. So getting an internship is a great option. Offer to work for a brand for free just so you can learn as much as possible and get some hands-on experience. Third, focus on making your products as good as you possibly can, just increasing the value that your brand provides. Don't be lazy, don't rush releases. Take the time to get things right and just focus on making products that you personally love. Don't make shitty products. And then lastly, none of this happens overnight. It's very easy to think that you can have one viral TikTok video and change your life. I mean, it is possible, but that's not really how it works. You really just got to be patient and stick with it. The real growth happens one day at a time. Sure, you can have some viral videos, which is great, but that is not what makes a brand successful. You cannot rely on going viral. So just learn to love the process itself. Forget about the prizes, forget about the profit. If you simply just focus on making great products that people will love, including yourself, you cannot go wrong. I guarantee you the right people will find you over time. Okay guys, that is going to wrap up this video. I hope you guys took some notes, gained a lot of value from this video. Make sure you guys follow my socials in the description so you can stay updated with me and my brand. And if you want to know the top 5 blanks to use for your clothing brand, check the video out right here. This t-shirt I'm wearing is one of the blanks in the video. Comment below what you guys want to see next. Subscribe to stay updated. And if you watched this far, I really appreciate you. Love you guys. I will see you next time. Peace.